Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that, okay, guys? Oh, man, what a crazy night. If you were in the Midwest area, I am hoping you guys are all okay. It was insane. Power outages and tornado after tornado after tornado. I'm not joking. It was absolutely insane. So hopefully everybody in the area is okay that is watching in the Midwest area. Hopefully you guys are okay. But do me a favor before we get into everything, because I know a lot of people are still trying to collect themselves after a crazy night, crazy long night, to be completely honest. While you're doing that, hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. All right, I'm on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble. I'm on all those platforms, including on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you crush that subscribe button, please, and thank you. Go to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you are subscribed over there. Make sure you have that notification bell on both platforms set to all, so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, okay? Of course, hit that join button down below. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And of course, don't forget, check out pascalmerch.com. Okay, guys? Check that out. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay, guys. Well, you know, there's been a lot that's been going on as of late. A lot, okay? But there has been something that has been percolating for the overnight. Not only just the multiple tornadoes that a lot of people in the Midwest were dodging and I don't know, praying that they weren't going to get hit by a tornado. It was a crazy, crazy night. Let's just say that really quick. Absolutely knuckin' futz. And for anyone who has been hit by the tornadoes, you know, my prayers go to you guys. And I hope you guys are able to rebuild and move forward. And I hope everybody in your family, all your loved ones, are okay. But just a quick breakdown of what happened last night. There were a massive amounts of tornadoes. I'm not kidding. Once one stopped, another one would start. And then once that would stop, there'd be another one percolating over here and another one brewing over here. And then they just kept dropping like fly. Like, it was insane. All right. Multiple tornadoes in the area, which was absolutely insane. Lots of buildings went down. A lot of roofs got ripped off and all that. Like I said, it was a scary, scary night. But after all the craziness subsided, that's when I found out that this 911 call, the full 911 call, was released. And guys, everyone was sitting there going, well, not everyone, but a lot of people were sitting there going, oh, it's fake. It's fake. It's a fake audio, blah, blah, blah. This is real. This is very real. And it gives us more insight on what actually happened here. It's different when they write out like little like a script, you know, the transcription of the dialogue that's going on. There is so much going on in the background that says so much. You know, they're not sitting there saying she's weeping. They don't say any pieces, no descriptions of what they sound like. No, nothing. All you're reading is what you're seeing in black and white. That can be interpreted in so many different ways, right? Which sucks, because you can read it like it's a little like sitcom. You can read it like it's a soap opera. You can read it like it's ripped out of a horror flick. The way it can be interpreted is so many different ways, especially when it's in black and white, right? When it's just in ink and on a white page. Now, they have finally released the 911 call. excuse me. They have finally released the 911 call, which we are finally going to listen to. All right. There is even transcription of what, at least News Nation. Shout out to News Nation, of course. All right. Just letting them know. Appreciate it. All right. But the thing is I don't know, Scott 505. I don't know who released it, how it got out. Okay. I know that it came from a YouTuber. That YouTuber put out 30 seconds. Then, from my understanding, they released the whole thing. And now everyone's been scooping it up and obviously sharing it on their platforms and letting people know what is going on. It's insane, the reactions, because it's been on both sides of the spectrum, on both extremes ends of the spectrum and everything in between. It's been all over the spectrum. People who believe it's fake still think it's fake. And the people who are out there going, wow, this is scary. This is a wild situation. And you could tell for sure something is up, right? So we're going to play the audio, the full audio. I'm not going to interrupt it at all. And then we're going to go back and we're going to kind of critique it, beat by beat. All right. But of course, it's nice to have the audio released, which we knew was going to happen even before the 30 seconds piece came out. We knew it was inevitable that they were going to bring out the 911 call, because here's the thing. In my personal opinion, it exonerates the two that survived. It exonerates them as possible perpetrators, as possible suspects, at least to me. But then again, I know some people are going to say, hey, this is, they're great actors or something like that. This is all fake. I don't see it. I really don't. But like I said, this is a 2-year-old case. And when there's no new information, when nothing's been put out there, it leaves room for people to speculate and put out their own conspiracy theories, etc. But nonetheless, we are going to get into this in just a second. S-Dubs, thank you so much for saying you're glad that I'm safe. It sounds scary. Hit the like. Yeah, it was. And yeah, definitely hit the like button down below, guys. Definitely do that for sure. Don't forget to do that. Of course, don't forget to subscribe, all that stuff. But yes, last night was terrifying. Last night was pretty crazy. And it was all over the place, all over the map. So it was insane. But we're here. Power's still on. Roof is still over our heads. So we're okay. Okay. At least I can account for myself, right? But again, back to the conversation here. What is scary about this is what they see. But what's wild to me even more is that they're still having dialogue in here saying that Xana's passed out. And it won't be until later you hear that she's not breathing, which is still very weird to me. Now, we don't know what she's wearing. We don't know the clothing she's wearing or anything of that sort. But at the same time, I feel like you'd see the stuff all over the floor, all over the walls, what have you. She'd be pale because, of course, she had passed already. You know what I'm saying? There's just things that just don't make any earthly sense. You see what I'm saying? But we're going to listen to it in just a second. Sammy, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate the love. Why did the girls wait for the following day to call 911? Seeing a stranger in a ski mask and failing to get a response from the friends, it's very strange. Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree with that. That is weird. That part is weird. That part I do not understand, because, we've already talked about this ad nauseum. At knee-jerk reaction, I'm calling 911. Okay? I see a funny shadow in the corner, I'm calling 911. No, I'm not a scaredy cat. Okay, you know what I mean? I'll get straight gut on you. But at the same time, though, if I'm hearing, and I believe this, okay? I believe, and I'll keep this super chat up here really quick. I believe, and this is just my theory, we haven't heard anything as of yet. I believe the two heard a whole bunch of commotion. That's my theory. There is no way they didn't hear the commotion in this kind of house. And you got to remember too, this is kind of like a shared home, okay, where rooms are being rented out by these students. This is not like some high-rise luxury apartment. It is a glorified party house. So that house is probably built in a cheap way and probably maintained in a cheap way because it's students living in it. They're not putting a whole lot of money into it and making sure everything's super perfect and, you won't be able to hear the roommate next door. No, I think this is a low to moderate built home. So if you hear something, the whole house is going to hear it. If the dog is walking across the floor and the floor is all hardwood flooring, you're going to hear his paws walking across the thing. You're going to hear it. So you're definitely going to hear somebody getting into fisticuffs with somebody in the house if the whole house is dead quiet. All right? If the whole house is dead quiet and there's some sort of scuffle going on, people are going to hear that, y'all. Especially the person who lives right down the hallway from one of the people that's actually getting attacked. Think about that. So again, instantly, I believe, and I feel like Bethany, who was on the first floor, or on the bottom floor. Some people say it's the basement. I call it the basement, but at the same time, she was on the first floor. We're just going to agree to disagree, but I'm going to call it the first floor, okay? She was on the first floor. Even she heard things. I guarantee you, because of the text messages that we read, right? Something is up. They heard something and it scared the bejesus out of them. Rightfully so. It is weird that they did not call anybody till the following day, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know. Is it because of the drinks? Is it because of the, maybe other substances that they were consuming that night? I don't know. I really, really don't know. Frozen shock phase is interesting, especially if you're still able to send text messages to your roommates and have a full-on conversation back and forth, an A-B conversation between yourself and Bethany or Bethany and Dylan, okay? Between, yourself and Dylan, all right? But still not be able to produce a 911 call. That is weird. I get the pushback. I get the concern. I get the side-eyeing. But is that foul play on their part? No, I don't believe so. I think that they were really scared. I think that they thought that, hey, here's the other thing too. Maybe they were like, oh, whatever happened in there is, well, that's their business. I'm not going to jump into that. I'm just going to stay in my room. Maybe it was a tussle or a fight between two guys, between Ethan and whoever this assailant was, right? Just two dudes getting after it for some weird reason. But then it ended and it was over, right? But then at the same time, you're telling me that Maddie and Kaylee didn't make noise and there wasn't any fighting at all either? Like you didn't hear any tussle going on upstairs on the top floor? That's the thing. It's weird, right? And then, of course, it makes you ask so many questions on why. And I could see why people are still leaning on the trap house theory, because it's like, well, maybe they needed some time to get rid of stuff. Not unaliving material, but material that maybe was in the house that would have shown a bad light on the victims or even on that house, right? Maybe that is, but like I said, I'm not them. I didn't live in that house. But, even so, I'm telling you, if I was a woman, a young girl, young college student, young female college student living in that house, and I saw some sort of perpetrator with bushy eyebrows and wearing a ski mask, 911 is on speed dial. Forget it. 911, boop, like that, right? So let's take a listen, because some of you guys are here. That's why I was trying to kill a little bit of time so that you guys can get in here, because sometimes you guys don't get, all right? Sometimes you guys don't get the alert, okay, the notification until much later. But like I said, we are playing out every option here, okay? Listen, I'm not trying to I'm trying to just pull out all the possibilities. And here's the thing, even the most logical or even the most reason of this whole thing going down, right? The reason why they didn't call for them makes sense. To me, won't make sense. You see what I'm saying? If they just said, well, I was scared, it doesn't make sense to me. Why wouldn't you just call 911? I was scared, but that's what 911's there for. You call 911 when you're scared. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. I mean, right? But you try to make sense of it as best as you can, but it still doesn't make sense. There is no logic, with all due respect. There is no logic, because even so, you may be frozen shock phase, but then at the same time, see, this is the argument I think everybody's having. You're doing frozen shock phase, right? There's frozen shock phase, but you're still able to use your thumbs and hit that QWERTY keyboard in your phone to have conversations with everybody in the house, and then have a back and forth conversation with Bethany, being like, I'm so scared, I'm so confused, I really don't know what's going on right now. You see what I'm saying? So if you're able to do all that conversation, it's really, you know what I mean? Then you pull up the phone and 911 send, or, call. That's it, right? But like I said, I feel like that is something that maybe they'll bring out the transcripts of the interviews, right? The interviews that Dylan had, maybe with everything. And maybe within those questions, they will ask that burning question, which is, why didn't you call 911? And maybe she does answer it. You understand that when this does go to trial, and if and when, because she's obviously going to be brought in as a key witness, when she goes and takes the stand, that's probably going to be the number one question that they're going to ask. Defense is going to ask the hell out of that. Why didn't you call 911? And I feel like that's going to be the burning question that a lot of us are going to want to have answered. That's majorly number one. Then, of course, there's the other questions of who's the other DNA that was found throughout the house, right? Is prosecution going to be able to, are they doing their due diligence? Is law enforcement even looking into that? Did they check all those things out to make sure that there weren't 2 or 3 other people in the house aside from Bryan Kohberger, allegedly Bryan Kohberger, right? Did he operate alone? Did he operate with other people? Were there other assailants and perpetrators in that house? Those are things that still need to be answered and have yet to be answered. But what we know is Dylan saw only one person, male, wearing all black, ski mask, bushy eyebrows. And now we want to know what actually happened here and why did this 911 call happen several hours later? One other thing I will point out. Well, you know what? I'm going to hold that. I'm going to hold that thought for a second. But enough of you guys are in here, so let's get this bad boy moving, okay? This is the 911 call. All right? This is the 911 call. Let us get it moving. Yeah, there's more DNA. Yeah, there was more DNA, just so you guys know. More DNA found throughout the house and under Maddie's fingernails, by the way. Which we talked about in a pop-up video on this channel, okay? I did a video about this. I was like, what? Because the defense, Bryan Kohberger's team, is trying to say, well, there was other DNA found, not only just under Maddie's nails, but also there was DNA found outside of the house and inside the house as well. Unknown people, just DNA inside the house that was never accounted for. So yes, they're trying to sit there and say, well, you can't just say it's just, how do you know that you have the right guy? Etc. I will say the knife sheath kind of is a dead giveaway. I will say that. All right. Yes, I know it's touch DNA and everyone's going, everybody was talking about that for like 3 months. Touch DNA. But at the same time, guys, his DNA was there and they got him, which is also interesting. There is something else. If I remember to do this, play for you guys later, there was something about like the police were tipped off by, I don't know. They got a tip about Brian Kohberger. We're going to look at that here in a second. Okay. All right. Now, I will say this. This is tough. This is not an easy audio to hear. Brace yourself. It's pretty wild and it's pretty damn intense. Let's rock and roll.
On location of your emergency.
Something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the light, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address, 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number that you're calling from?
What's your phone number?
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Sorry,
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, but we gotta go check. But we have to. Is it Pascal? What's wrong? She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20. Here's one.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
You need to talk to them, okay? I can't talk to them. They need you to talk to them.
Hello.
Okay. I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Say that again. There's a police here right now.
Okay. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
We don't have one. I think yes. Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, we have one.
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
Okay.
Thanks for.
Okay. Woo! That is insane. Let me just say this. Audio changes everything. Clearly. Audio changes everything. Those transcripts, of course, we appreciate the writing of the transcripts, but at the same time, there's so much more in the audio that they don't have in the transcripts, like at all, in fact, which is insane. All of this stuff here, let me get straight into this. That dispatch wasn't playing, though. She wasn't having it, but I get it. You know what I mean? She's there to bring the right person to the right type of people, the right type of vehicles to the place for the right thing, right? So she's like, yo, y'all have been passing around the phone too much. Like, stop. But I get it, okay? And here's the thing. Some people I know were looking at this and going like, the neighbor is sitting there saying, oh, yeah, she's passed out drunk. She may have just walked up to the scene and was like, hey, my neighbor, Dylan, is hyperventilating and freaking out. She's in absolute emotional wreck right now. Let me just take over the phone and help out. If from what she's gathering, maybe she's understanding that it's about Xana and Xana's not getting up. So she's maybe just assuming, oh, she's drunk. She's passed out and she's not waking up, right? But then when we hear them say things about, oh, we gotta go inside, right? Where is it? Yeah. See, I'll come on. We gotta go check because we have to. And then you can hear it's like they go back inside. It takes a minute for them to get to that place. And then it's like, is she passed out? Then Xana and Ethan, the male, saying that, right? It's like they're screaming Xana's name, maybe to wake her up. She's not responding clearly, right? So then the guy's like, Ethan, like maybe like, yo, are you okay? Where are you at? Are you here? Maybe that's what it is. And then he peered over and saw what was going on. Peered through the room and saw that Ethan was on the floor or wherever he was found exactly, because that's some information I don't fully remember where his body was found. But I do remember his body was indeed inside Xana's room, right? Then, of course, you could tell she's passed out. Like it's so odd because, like I said, and that's the other thing too. The 3 knocks. It sounds like the door was closed, if that's if that's possible, right? Because she's right by Xana. She's passed out and she's not moving, right? She's not responding. She's not waking up. Then you hear 3 knocks. My thought is maybe male, the guy who's screaming Xana and Ethan's name, maybe he's actually knocking on the door. And Ethan's not answering. Maybe that's what it is. Then they're like, F it, I need to go upstairs and check on the other girls. Because they're not moving around. We don't hear Maddie or Kaylee. Are they even here? So then that's when they go upstairs. I think, you know what I mean? Because there's another, you know what I mean? So that's just kind of what I'm thinking. Because she's down by the floor, by the door of her bedroom. He could be crouched down, trying to wake her up, trying to get her to respond, and knocking on the door at the same time. Xana, knock, knock, knock. Xana, right? She's not waking up, right? So then they run upstairs and see whatever the hell they see upstairs. And that's when he's like, we need to get the hell out of here. We're going to replay these portions because we've heard the first 30 seconds, right? But, the real meat and potatoes, the real focus is like right here when they're finding the people like gone, right? So again, one moment I'm getting help started that way. Okay, thank you. And then it's like, what's wrong? And then that's when, the guy comes back downstairs. One of the guys comes back downstairs And he literally, I'm sure, is white as bed sheets, right? Just completely just like he saw a ghost. And then there's the poor Kaylee or the come on Kaylee. But then there's a full breakdown. They full on crumble at this moment. And then the male's like, this is now a crime scene. That's when he realizes, oh, no. We got to go. We got to get the hell out of here. We can't be in this place with all these unalive people. This is a crime scene. Let's go. Go. Right? So this is very interesting. Like I said, we're only going to look at the middle part because that's the part that I think is obviously the most interesting and the most telling, right? And Jesse, I don't know why it took him 8 hours. I still don't know. We've asked this 2 years ago. I'm still asking this right now, right? Yeah, Tyler, I still don't know, man. I don't get it, man. Why 8 hours? But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know. And you know what? And what's so sad about this is that this is going to be a situation that Dylan and Bethany are going to be asking themselves and beating themselves up over for the rest of their lives. Let's be real. This is the reality that they have to live in, right? Which is terrifying and sad because you don't ever want to wake up to see something like this kind of carnage. Like I said, this is the stuff of nightmares. But let's play a little bit of it, okay?
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah.
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, Bethany, you gotta go check.
Now, here's the thing. She says, I don't really know. Which is interesting. Now, again, there is full shock going on. Literally, I've heard stories of people in so much shock that, especially in war. I'm not kidding. I've heard stories of war where people are literally trying to drag their another soldier, one of their own soldiers, trying to drag them back to safety, only to find out that person was long gone or half their body is missing. These are real true stories, right? But they don't realize that all they're thinking about is the motor skill of getting them the hell out of there while dodging bullets whizzing by their face, right? So I can see somebody not fully computing in their mind because of just pure shock that there's something going on, that something bad just happened. That is possible, right? Like it's possible that she just doesn't compute that what she's seeing here. Because I really think if it's really that bad and that gruesome, you can't look at a room and see, oh, that wall used to be white and now splattered with red. It's a wall that you see every single day. And it's white or beige or even gray or whatever the interior walls were, right? Painted. You're looking at it and suddenly you're like, whoa. There's red all over it now and she's on the ground. But some people, their brains just shut off. It's almost like they have a glitch. Especially when it's a traumatic experience. They just don't, it's almost like this dissociative disconnect, right? It's like, I forgot the word. I think I said half of it already, but it's like dissociative whatever. They just disconnect themselves from the situation. And it's almost like this game of denial is going on in their head. And it's the same thing that we hear about soldiers in war, especially when they're in the ish, right? They're in the middle of it. And They're busy trying to get somebody back in one place. They grab that person, they take them back over there only to find out half their face is gone. I'm not kidding. These are true stories. I've heard them from my friends that have served, and it's terrifying stuff. Cognitive dissonance. Thank you so much. Cognitive dissonance. Okay. It's just suddenly like a complete disconnect. All right. And for some odd reason, your brain almost checks out, and logic is completely thrown out the window. So again, yeah, I mean, and we've seen this in movies. Okay. We've seen it in TV shows and movies for sure. It is a real thing. Okay. It is a real thing. So with this situation, it could very well have been a situation like that too, where she just completely disconnected from the reality of life and death and just is thinking that she's passed out. There's no way she would be gone. She's passed out. Clearly she's passed out. When in actuality, probably from the guys, they were able to turn to them and go, "No, sweetheart, we got to go. Okay? We got to go right now. This is a crime scene." Okay? So again, I see that as something. But then, because again, she says, "Yeah, we got to go in there." And it seems like everybody's scared because she goes like, "We got to go check. Come on, we got to go check." And it's almost as if the people are like, "I don't want to go inside there. Why we got to go inside?" But we have to. That's how she's responding. It's like, "What? We got to go inside." No, I'm not going inside. But we have to. Is she passed out? Okay. So this could very well be what happened here, where she's like, "Hey, we got to go inside, guys, because we have to, but we have to." Is she passed out? And then they go inside, they find Xana, and you know what I mean? And then they're knocking on the door, trying to open maybe they're trying to knock on the door. I don't know the full breakdown of that, but I'm assuming they're knocking on the door of Xana's bedroom because they assume that Ethan is in there. So they're knocking on the door. Then they go upstairs and all hell breaks loose even more. But this is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. And no, I don't think this is acting. I don't think that they just pull this is like the most amazing acting gig in the history of 911 calls then. Real talk. If that was the case. I believe this to be 100% real. This is terrifying. Let's play a little bit more.
But we have to.
See? But we have to. So then they go inside. They get in there. They go over towards Xana. And then, is she passed out? And like I said, she may be so disconnected to this whole situation that she is not computing that this woman, that her roommate is gone. You know what I mean? She's passed out. What's wrong? She is in so much denial. Yo. She is such in deep denial. The guys are probably looking at her like, "Sweetheart, she's gone." Right? And Dylan's going, "No, she's passed out." What? No, she's passed out. No, don't tell me she's gone. She's passed out. What's wrong? What are you talking about? She's so disconnected because she can't believe that what is happening is actually happening. Do you see what I'm saying? So now I can see why. This is why I say 911 audio is so important, especially when it comes to these kinds of situations. Okay. And the way it's breaking down to me, it sounds like she is so completely in denial and in shock that she believes her friend Xana, her roommate Xana, is gone or is passed out. The other guys go in there, they see it with their own two eyes for themselves, and they're like, "Oh my God. Oh my God, Dylan." It's like, "Xana? Oh my God. Ethan, she's passed out. What's wrong? What are you talking about? She's passed out." No, She is not in her right mind at this moment. You see what I'm saying? Completely disconnected. She is oblivious to what really has happened. Completely oblivious. Now, the other question I'm also wondering too, okay? Wow, my Apple Watch talking. The other thing I'm also wondering is, where's Bethany? Where's Bethany in this whole situation too? Because we don't hear, she doesn't grab the phone. I'm assuming she doesn't grab the phone, right? It's the neighbor. It's a male. I understand one of the guys is Hunter, right? It's Hunter and another guy there too, if I'm correct. And then Dylan and Bethany. But we don't hear anything from Bethany. So yeah, like I said, Dylan is in such denial because of the shock. She believes Xana's just asleep. She cannot even compute the devastation that's laying right in front of her until the friends show up, look at Xana, and say, oh my damn, she's gone. And Dylan is still in denial. No, she's passed out. Don't tell me that. What's wrong? That's when they say she's not waking up. She says she's not waking up. Okay? This is when you hear it audibly. Suddenly, the realization starts to dawn on Dylan in real time in this 911 call. Hear it.
She's not waking up. Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you.
Right here. You heard that, right? This is as soon as she realizes, that's the moment that she fully realizes that not only is it Xana that's gone, Kaylee and Maddie are also gone. Hunter, or whoever comes down, I'm assuming it's Hunter, comes down from checking out that room, comes down. She goes, okay, thank you, because she's still kind of in denial in a way. She's not waking up. She says she's not waking up. So still, it's still not connecting yet until this very moment when Hunter comes back downstairs after seeing what he saw upstairs with Kaylee and Maddie. And that's when it hits her. They're all gone. That's why she breaks down like that. Because I'm sure she saw Hunter break down too. And if Hunter's breaking down, she's like, okay, whatever thing that I materialized in my head has now been shattered. Reality just kicked in. Oh my God. They're all gone. That's what's happening here. So yeah, transcript wise, it's like, why the hell would she say she's passed out? That don't make no doggone sense. And then I can see how it can look even more fishy, even more suspect, right? That's when you get the dun, dun, dun. You know what I mean? What the hell's going on? You know, was she just trying to hide this whole thing? No, I truly believe that she was completely disconnected mentally in her mind. She did not know what was going on because she wouldn't allow herself to know what was going on when she knew what was going on. But because it was so traumatic, she could not connect the dots until somebody else saw it with their own two eyes and dragged her back into reality. She went into a dreamlike sequence. And it was like, you can even hear it. She in the very beginning of the phone call, she knows exactly what's going on, but she's freaking out and going, no. She's not dead. There's no way Xana is gone. She's just passed out. She drank too much last night. That's what happened. Let's just get somebody over here and they're going to revive her. She's going to be fine tomorrow. Okay? She built up this world in her mind. Okay? And then that's when the other people came in, saw everything, and like I said, took her, dragged her, ripped her right out of that dream world that she created and put her right back in the nightmare that she was physically standing in. That's how I see it. Now, I mean, everybody can disagree. I know everybody's still like, I know there's still people thinking that she has something to do with this, or even Bethany has something to do with this. I don't see any of that. I see a girl terrified out of her mind from way before in the early mornings of that day, terrified out of her mind, thinking that there's no way that these these four have lost their lives in this kind of way. Maybe she is regretting. That's the other thing too. It's like, I should have called. I should have dialed 911. I'm blaming all of this on myself. Guilt. So it's kind of like, no. Don't tell me that she's not gone. She's just passed out. No. Don't say that. She's passed out. That's what's going on. You got to understand, there's so many layers to this situation other than just her seeing Xana on the floor. You got to remember, if Xana's on the floor and she's gone, then she probably is putting blame on herself. She saw a man in all black, bushy eyebrows, ski mask. She could have called 911, but she didn't. We got to remember that. That is part of the reality. I'm not trying to victim shame at all here. All I'm saying is the psychology of this person, what is probably going on in her mind right now. So then she wakes up the next day, sees Xana gone, but she's like, no, this can't be my fault. No. I should have called 911. No. She's just passed out. You see what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if she's blaming herself or not. All I'm saying is I can imagine the guilt is palpable, and I bet you the guilt is real within her and Bethany as well, because you got to remember, Bethany was there too. Bethany could have called 911 too, but she in that night or that early morning, but they didn't. She didn't either. So like I said, this is some really wild stuff, scary stuff. I can't believe that this even happened. And I think, obviously everybody else there, I think, can agree with me too, right? S-Dubs, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If poked in the abdomen, go upright to hit the heart, face on her tummy. Blood may not have been as visible. Okay, I heard BK worked in a butchery. Yeah, he did, but then he lost his job. Apparently, I think he got fired because he wasn't working fast enough or something crazy like that. I don't know, but allegedly he had some knife skills, but he didn't stay at that butchery for very long. Okay, he didn't stay very long at that butcher shop. So again, that doesn't mean that he can't over time get better with that knife. If you can handle a knife, and I've already said this a million times before, but if you are handling a knife and you're even somewhat even if you're a novice, you just know some skills, you can be a lot more dangerous with that than a person with an actual pew-pew. Remember, a pew-pew runs out of bullets. You can basically, as soon as it runs out of bullets, you can basically say it's a doggone paperweight. Yeah, you can use it to strike and all that stuff too, but let's be real. What's a pew-pew really made for? To bang, right? But as soon as it runs out, click, 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 you might as well toss it aside because it's now just a paperweight. But then you got somebody. Oh, it was a fishery. Thank you. It was a fishery. It was a fish spot. But yeah, apparently he wasn't there for very long. Like I said, this is 2 years ago, all this information. So I'm dusting it all off my brain. But moving on, okay? Here's the other thing. And I've learned this through years and years of martial arts and Krav Maga and jiu-jitsu and all that stuff. Here's the thing. When you have somebody who's even semi-good with a pokey poke, okay, you're in some serious trouble. Because that weapon never runs out of ammo. It stays sharp. And it's still deadly for however long that person is holding that particular weapon in their hand. And it only takes one good fatal blow, and it's a wrap for you. That's why I'm saying somebody going in, okay? Somebody coming in, a perpetrator, and they have the knife. And you got 4 students up there. They don't have, martial art experience or anything like that, okay? For the most part, all right? They might have some moxie in them. They might have some fight in them, but at the same time, you think they're all skilled on how to protect themselves when somebody's running around with a pokey poke? College students, especially them who have went to frat parties and gone out drinking and kicking it at bars and going to a food truck and all that stuff. Very much drunk over there and coming back home drunk. You're getting attacked by a guy or guys with pokey pokes, with sharp objects. It's a losing battle, guys. I hate to say it like that, but it's a losing battle. Sure, you can put up a fight, but if they know where to hit and they strike those vital parts, it's a wrap. It is a wrap. So again, Game Cat, exactly. It is very hard to defend yourself against somebody with a knife. It's very hard. Okay? It's very dangerous. Like I said, you can dodge bullets. You can dodge and hide in a way until they run out of bullets, right? Sure, they can attack you with the actual butt end of the weapon. But at the same time, it's not much harm they can do. A knife, though, a knife can last forever in a fight. So all I'm saying, and of course, it's just as messy too. Let's be real. It's just as messy. There's slicing. There's there's all those things, all those acts that are all over the place, right? That leave trails of red on walls and stuff like that, depending on how they're struck and all that. But at some point, they're leaking out, right? So that's what I mean by Dylan saw something, okay? Dylan definitely saw something, and then her brain checked out. That's what I truly think. Her brain completely checked the F out. And understandably, she checked out. This is terrifying stuff. It's a reality that you don't want to really wrap your mind around. And then there's also regret. Like you cannot tell me that I didn't listen to my gut reaction, my gut instinct the night before, or 8-9 hours ago. I should have called 911, and I didn't. And that's the same thing for Bethany. I'm sure Bethany was beating herself up as well when they found out all this stuff right there. Like I said, this is some scary stuff. So again, this 911 call, okay? This 911 call, it's very telling. Okay? I think it answers a lot of questions. How I see it, it answers a lot of questions. And no, I don't think Dylan nor Bethany have anything to do with this. Not in the way that we're hearing their reactions. I know some of y'all still think otherwise. Than in your perspective, this is like Oscar-winning 911 acting audibly, okay? But I truly believe that these girls could not, or at least Dylan. I don't know about Bethany because we don't hear anything from Bethany. But I truly believe that Dylan could not fully compute the horrors that were actually in front of her because she wasn't allowing herself to until the other friends showed up and brought her back into reality. That's just how I see it. Still heartbreaking. And yeah, it feels like a scene from a movie. Real talk. That's what it feels like too, right? Was it? No, I don't think it was Bethany, the first one on the call. Hold on. No, they say it's, well, this is what, just so you can see this, just a girl in Cleveland just said this. All right. OH. Okay. But it says Dylan in here. This is the very beginning of the transcript. Okay. Now maybe maybe that's a mistake. Maybe it was Dylan. I mean, maybe it was Bethany on the phone call first. Right. And then the other thing too is maybe Bethany doesn't really know anything. Good job. Good job on you. Some people are listening to the show. I appreciate it. But here's the thing. Here's the other possibility. Maybe Bethany didn't really know anything because she never went upstairs because she was too scared. Understandably. But maybe she didn't go upstairs at all because she was like, no, I'm not going. Nope. Not going up there. Nope. I'm not going up there. I'm not going up there alone. That could possibly be it. Because you could tell Dylan did not go upstairs to the top floor where Kaylee and Maddie were found. She came out of the room. She walked around. She saw Xana, probably ran downstairs in shock and fear. And then, of course, 911 calls were made and all that stuff. Right? So Bethany may have been the first one to pick up the phone. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that part. They say Dylan in here, so I trust it to be Dylan. Could be wrong, though. Right? Nonetheless, though, Bethany may not have gone upstairs at all until that moment that I just talked to you guys about, that we just broke down. That she maybe went upstairs when everyone else went upstairs to see what was going on with Xana. That's probably the only time that she was upstairs. Now, again, that is just my theory, right? I could be wrong. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. But real quick, it's a little bit of a left turn, but I do want to pull something up for you guys. It has something to do about Brian Koberger. This is going to be quick, I promise. That's what he said. But hold on. Where the heck is it? It is pretty wild that we're suddenly all just, we're starting to get all this Idaho 4 stuff just now, right? It's been 2 years and finally we're getting this stuff, which is just crazy. Hold on. Let me just search here. Come on. This is going to drive me crazy because apparently there was something along the lines of like somebody. Okay. First off, let's first start. Okay. Now I want you guys to know, because some of you guys aren't hip to this. And I talked about this on the other, on some pop-up videos. Okay. But this is something just really, really quick. 3 other DNA were found under the nails. 3 other people's DNA found under Maddie's nails. Okay. I'm just playing 5 seconds of this so you guys can hear this. Okay. But there's this one piece that I want to share with you guys. Just give me a second. I'm going to play that here in a second too.
What I think is the biggest development, the DNA from 3 individuals under victim Maddie Mogen's fingernails. How big of a deal is this, Edwina?
I think this is a huge deal. Huge. I think probably one of the most important things that we can take from the filings is that it was inconclusive, and then there was further testing that excluded Koberger. And I think that's one of the most important things.
So
again, very, very big deal in my personal opinion too. Do I think that Brian Koberger, this exonerates Brian Koberger? Hell no. But this is very, very telling. Okay. To me, this is very, very telling. You got 3 other DNA. It could be anybody. It could be a girl. It could be one of their girlfriends. It could be another assailant, another perpetrator, 3 other perpetrators. It could be any other person, right? But that's pretty important in my personal opinion. It does not exonerate. Let me repeat. It does not exonerate Brian Kohberger. It does not. But nonetheless, it's very interesting that those pieces of information are now being put out here for the world to hear, for the court of public opinion to hear and take in. My only argument here is, why aren't we hearing the identities of those 3 people? Think about it. If it's 3 other DNA underneath Maddie's nails, and you got Brian Kohberger, so you got that locked in, why aren't they testing out the DNA? And that's just under her nails. Allegedly, there was DNA found in, like, I think it was on the railing of the house, of the stairwell, and then also DNA found outside the house, right outside the house as well. So again, it's like, wait a second, you have all this DNA from unnamed people. Why aren't you doing your due diligence to make sure you really do have everybody then? Making sure you're doing your due diligence and those people check out. Because that DNA could be, I don't know, it could be anything. But it also could be really something too that leads us to catching somebody else, right? So this is very weird. Let me play just a tiny bit more, because I got something else about the defense trying to say that his DNA was planted. Let's just go.
So, and it was interesting because at one point in the document, it said that it was inconclusive. And then the defense said that they did further testing that excluded Kohberger. What does that mean? The fact that first inconclusive, but then the defense is citing this independent testing. And then why wouldn't they want it kept in, Edwina, if it shows that it wasn't him? Why are they trying to get it thrown out ahead of trial?
I think that the defense argument there is that the inference from what we can deduce from what this testimony was to the grand jury is that the state wants to infer that it was Kohberger, despite the fact that it was inconclusive. So I think that the defense is wanting to insulate against any inference whatsoever that the source of that DNA is Kohberger.
What do you think it means that that it's 3 individuals, according to this filing? 3 individuals' DNA found under the fingernails. What could that possibly indicate?
Well, I mean, with DNA evidence, and especially how little is required to get a DNA profile these days, is that it could be, right, anyone. She could be the source of the DNA. It could be an additional 2 other unknown individuals. But what the standout is that it's through the state's testing, it's inconclusive with respect to Kohberger, and through this independent testing, it ruled him out. So I'm not sure why the defense would want the DNA evidence thrown out if they have reliable expert testing that shows that excludes Kohberger from that DNA profile.
Yeah, so if the initial testing is saying inconclusive and the state additional testing is saying that Kohberger has been ruled out from the DNA under Maddie's fingernails, can they present both sides to the jury, or does the judge end up making a decision about which testing was more reliable? How does that work?
Well, theoretically, they can present both sides, right? The defense is absolutely entitled to put on whatever defense evidence that they have. However, depending on what this testing, this independent testing is and how reliable it is, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a state's motion trying to exclude that independent testing.
Interesting. Interesting. Again, I'm quite curious about this DNA and why this DNA. I mean, I would hope that
Do
they
the
are
cheek
going to.
swab and
I would hope that they are going to do something with it. Again, does that exonerate Brian Kohlberger? No, I really don't. I don't think it exonerates him at all. I think that it's very telling, and that could be more. There could be more than just one individual that was involved in this situation. This all happened in less than 20 minutes. That's really fast. Now I get it. He's got like his mile pace is like 6. He runs at a 6 minute per mile pace or something like that. Like that's pretty damn healthy. That's pretty damn fast. He's got some endurance. But does that mean he'd be able to go through all of that and do what he did to everybody, all 4 people and 2 people and people putting up a fight at the same time? Yeah, it's possible. But it's not impossible. It's still possible, but I don't know. Did he really do this all by himself? Yeah, Melissa K, you got a point. He's got a few. Okay, he's got a few advantages, right? He's got a few advantages. One, I'm assuming he was sober. If this is him, okay, because I know there's some people in the room that are gonna be like, it wasn't him. You know what I mean? Getting mad and stuff. Hold on. I'm saying if it was him, all right, if it was him, I mean, he's pretty athletic. He's sober. He goes in there. He does what he does in a very fast way, right? They're all drunk, coming from hanging out, relaxing, doing whatever, The possibilities are it's very possible for him to go in there and do this. When they're all 4 drunk, shoot, it seems like everybody in that house was drunk. Okay, even Dylan, Bethany, and all that, right? So again, interesting, right? So yeah, very, very interesting. Nonetheless, all right. If it was, the fact that it was done in such a short amount of time, it's so fast. It would definitely make somebody. I mean, it definitely makes me wonder: did he really do this on his own? Okay, that's pretty damn fast. But again, it is a knife. It's not like he was using his hands, okay, to take him out. So, like I said, it's a lot of things I'm curious about. Okay, Katie, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. I think Ethan and Xana's door was shut, and they couldn't they couldn't get it open, and he got it open. That's when he said, "Get out, get out." I don't think they went upstairs at that point. Maybe. But it feels to me that when she says poor Kaylee, to me it sounds like not like, oh, they're the bestest of friends and poor Kaylee. I feel like somebody saw something upstairs, and then all hell broke loose about Kaylee as well. I don't get why she would instantly say, oh, poor Kaylee about Xana. I know that they're best. Like I said, I know that they're best friends, but I don't know. I'm not instantly saying like, if a friend of mine's best friend passed away in front of me, I'm not instantly saying, oh, poor such and such. I'm really saying poor the person that's perished in front of me. You see what I'm saying? like I said, I don't know. We're just speculating here, right? I don't know. I think that they went upstairs, saw what's going on, came downstairs. Maybe the first thing that came out of his mouth was Kaylee or something. I don't know. Okay. And Miss Shunty, I've already played it. So go roll it back, okay? Because we're now at the tail end of the show. But again, crazy stuff, guys. Heartbreaking stuff. And I think this is interesting. One last thing, I just want to play this one for y'all, okay? This has to do with his defense team saying that the DNA was planted. And I knew that was eventually going to come out. Okay. I knew this was eventually they're going to try to play this card. I think it's a trash card to play because in my personal opinion, it's like, why would they pick this guy of all people out of the entire world? There's so many other real life creepazoids out there in these streets. And they picked Brian Kohberger of all people. Just seems a little bit odd, don't you think? But again, let's take a listen.
Yeah, it is pretty surprising, Ashley. You have to think to yourself, if you were on that jury and they just said in court, oh, it's a tip that led us to Brian Kohberger and led us to do the cheek swab and then connect the DNA from him to the knife sheath. It was just a tip. You'd have to imagine they would be sitting there wondering, well, what tip was it? How did you get to that point? We've now learned they're not going to find out. That's not going to come in during trial. The judge just ruled on that today. It's been a year, more than a year, that there's been so many court hearings and fights back and forth about the investigative genetic genealogy, the defense trying to poke holes in it, saying that it's unfair, saying that it's not scientifically tested, that it's a new technology that they used. I thought it was going to be a big part of their defense at trial. Apparently not. They've said they don't want to bring it in. The prosecution has said they don't want to bring it in. The judge has agreed, and it's apparently not coming in.
Now, let me just say this really quick. They are saying that the state said that they found Brian Kohberger through a tip. Make sense. That's interesting as well. You see, and of course, for those who are pro, like for those that are free Kohberger, right? Free BK. For those that are out there thinking that, this definitely is suspicious. Don't you think that's suspicious? They got Kohberger through a tip? What tip? Where did that happen? How did they get where did the tip happen? Right? That's interesting. Who was the tip? And I could see why people could look at that and go, see, they're trying to cover something up. Something went down, something not right went down. Why aren't they talking about it? You see what I'm saying? That seems a bit interesting, don't you think? I still think that they got at least one of their men, okay? I think Kohberger did this, okay? I believe he did something. He had either he 110% did this or he did not operate alone, but nonetheless, he is the common denominator to the passings of these four individuals. That's what I truly believe. But I do think that this does not help the narrative. This does not help prosecution. This does not help the state when they say something like, "Yeah, we found Kohberger through a tip." Huh? You know what? I was just about to say this, but Pierrette, you said it faster than me. Okay. All right. But maybe he called on himself, which would be dumb unless he really wanted to get caught because he wants to be with the infamous, notorious names of monsters that are out there, like the Dahmers and the Bundys and the whatnots, right? The BTKs and etc. Right? He wants to be synonymous and put up on the same list as them. That's possible, right? That's very possible. But again, that's some crazy stuff to put a tip out on yourself, right?
Jesse, I feel like those are several months I will never get back. The pitched battle between the defense and the prosecution, under seal, I might add, which drives me even crazier because to me that is secret justice, not American justice. But, when it comes right down to it, Jesse Weber, a swath, of his cheek matches the DNA on the knife sheath. Do we need to even know anything more than that? The DNA on here matches the DNA in that cheek. Does the jury need to know anything more than that?
Probably not, because let me break it down for this. So it is a 5.37 octillion times more likely that is Brian Kohberger's DNA than anybody else. Not a shocker. They're not trying to challenge it. But let's, for argument's sake, take this argument. Okay, it was his DNA on the knife sheath and somebody decided to plant it. Okay, so now you're wondering, how did that happen? How did the DNA get on the knife sheath? Who would want to frame him? And by the way, if this is a plot to really frame Brian Kohberger here, then this is somebody who would also have to make sure that his cell phone turned off at the key times during these murders, that the cell phone pings that were on would track the same movements of his car headed towards and away from the direction of that area, that the car would also have to be in that area at least 4 times that night. And also the assailant would have to dress up and look like somebody like Brian Kohberger, who matched the description from the eyewitness about the bushy eyebrows. So all of these things together would have to be someone framing Brian Kohberger. And call me crazy, but that seems to be beyond, belief. Now, I'm curious to see where they go with it. This is the prosecution's narrative of trying to say what the defense is going to do here. But I got to tell you, Ashley, after you said so many court hearings where they tried to make sure this evidence wouldn't come in, saying that his rights were constitutionally violated, that it wasn't reliable, at this point, their only option is to admit it is his DNA, but there's another explanation for why it's there. I'm curious to see what that explanation will be.
So once again, Brian, the knife sheath and the snap had a tiny, tiny little sample of DNA. And by the way, that tiny, tiny little sample was so tiny and the integrity of it was so questionable, it had to go to a specialist to pull out a full profile in order to be able to actually put it into the genealogy base. So if someone is trying to frame, if this is the defense argument, that someone is trying to frame Brian Kohberger, really? That's how they're going to frame him? Find something with barely any DNA on it at all and just hope that maybe they can find a sample, pull out that profile from that speck, that minuscule. I mean, doesn't it start to sound, and here's the word, really unreasonable?
It does, and I'm just trying to play it out in my mind. If they actually try to argue this out in court, are they going to say that there was someone out there who killed these college kids, who then went and got the knife sheath from Brian Kohberger, they stole it or something, and it had the little bit of DNA on Kohberger, and then went to the house and put it in there after doing it, or brought it with them and then dropped it on purpose, trying to frame Kohberger? I mean, it is all sort of hard to wrap your mind around. But Jesse made a good point. I think this is important. I mean, this all came out through a state filing, and it is the prosecutor who is trying to explain what the defense witness is going to say at trial, possibly. So this isn't coming directly from the defense. So maybe this is just one sort of theory that they've floated around and that they're not necessarily going to use as a defense trial. We don't know, but it is kind of hard to imagine.
Again, it would be really ridiculous, I feel, for them to try to use that as an argument. I'm sorry. I know a lot of other people in the chat feel some type of way about that, but I don't see it. I don't see it being a strong argument that can exonerate Brian Kohberger 110%. Do I think that he operated alone? Yeah, I do. But then there's also another possibility that he didn't operate alone. But nonetheless, I truly believe that they got their guy, or at least one of their guys. There's no way that this guy just did this, like that. That he was singled out and used as the scapegoat, as the whipping boy. I just don't see it. I really don't. Okay. But, guys, what say you guys on all this? Of course, you just heard the audio from the 911 call. I appreciate you guys taking a listen and hearing my breakdown of the 911 call. It is terrifying to hear it. and heartbreaking to hear for show. But at the same time, I'm hoping that we get more truth here very, very soon. Okay. But I think they got their guy, or at least one of them. So definitely make sure you continue the conversation in the family chat down below. If you're watching the replay, I'd love to hear your thoughts on all this. It's very interesting. Planted the DNA. Nah, it's a no for me, dog. I'm just going to say it. It's a no. All right. But that's just me. All right. Please do me a favor, guys, before you head out. Appreciate you guys being here on this Saturday. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday. But while you go, or before you go and enjoy that Saturday, hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. If that would be greatly appreciated. Hit that reaction button on other platforms. And then while you're at those other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. Okay. I'm on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble. Make sure you hit that follow button down below there. Go ahead and crush that subscribe button here. Go over to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips, please and thank you. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And don't forget, check out PascalMerch.com. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. I appreciate all y'all. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Stay safe out there. And yeah, much love. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.